It's a beautiful day today and a beautiful day to read some more concerning but also fun Reddit stories. And I hope you guys are having a good day today and I hope you're ready for this. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure you subscribe if you want to. And let's get into it. Enjoy, guys. Am I the gay-hole for refusing to pay for my brother's wedding? After he kicked me out of the bridal party for getting engaged, I, 41 female, have always been close with my brother Tom, 38 male, and we've had a great relationship. When he got engaged to his fiancée Sarah, 38 female, I was honoured to be asked to be a bridesmaid. They've been planning a big wedding for over a year and I've been heavily involved in helping organise stuff, and I've even offered to cover some of the costs since my brother and his fiancée were on a tight budget. A few months ago, my partner proposed. I already refer to him as my husband, but we weren't officially married, and I said yes. We kept it low-key to not take away from Tom's upcoming wedding, since we have been together for years and we have an established marriage-like life together. However, after announcing our engagement, Sarah became cold towards me. Tom later told me that Sarah was upset, feeling like I stole her spotlight by getting engaged before their wedding. A week after that, Tom and Sarah called me and said that because of the timing of my engagement, it would be best if I stepped down as a bridesmaid. Sarah wanted to focus on her, and apparently my new engagement was too distracting. I was hurt by that, but I agreed to step down to keep the peace. Here's where things escalated though. Tom recently asked if I was still willing to help cover the wedding cost that I'd previously offered to pay for. A significant amount, by the way. I was so shocked. I politely declined, saying that I didn't feel comfortable contributing anymore since I was no longer in the bridal party, and because I felt so hurt by the situation. Tom got really upset and called me selfish, saying that I'm ruining his big day. Sarah even accused me of holding a grudge. Oh, come on, Sarah. And trying to punish them. Now my family is split. Some think that I should still help since I initially offered, while others agree that it is unfair to expect me to contribute after being kicked out of the wedding party. So, am I the gay hole for refusing to cover the wedding expenses after I got kicked out of the bridal party? No, of course you're not the a-hole, OP. How ridiculous is this? You're not ruining their spotlight. You tell people that you're getting married, they say congratulations and they get excited, and that's the end of it. You're not going to distract anybody at their wedding. What the hell are they talking about? The top comment says, not the gay hole. Why would you announcing your engagement have any influence on their wedding? Does everybody have to pause their life until the highly exalted Sarah gets married? You have no obligations to pay for anything for your brother besides what you yourself want. Them expecting money after treating you like they did for no valid reason is absurd. Yeah, like the comment below that one says, some people seem to believe that nobody's allowed to get engaged or pregnant or married in their wedding year. It's baffling. Yeah, like the comment below that one says too, not the a-hole. You don't need to put your entire life on hold because somebody else's wedding is a couple of months away. You weren't stealing her spotlight, and she was being petty. OP said, thank you. I do feel a little bit bad since my partner and I have lived as a married couple for a long time and he just wanted to make it official, but I think I just feel guilty really easily. Yeah, the comment below that one too. Don't feel guilty. Your brother and fiance are insane and they've got main character syndrome. The entire world is not about their wedding. Yeah, the one below that too. I mean, the brother's fiance sounds like the type of person who'd get pissy over somebody else wearing white during her wedding week or month or year. Not the a-hole, OP. Post number 2's called I took a shower at midnight while my wife was watching TV. Who's the a-hole? My wife was sitting in a recliner watching her iPad right outside the kids' bedrooms. I figured that I'm in the clear to take a long shower. When I turn the shower off, I hear my 3-year-old crying and screaming for daddy. I hurry. As I'm going through the family room, I look at my wife sitting watching her iPad and say, you couldn't calm him down? She says, no, I tried 3 times. I go into his room and I pick him up. He immediately stops crying and starts trying to catch his breath. I feel what I thought were tears dripping down my shoulder. I think, oh, poor guy's been upset for so long enough for my wife to come in 3 times. I lay him in bed and I start tucking him in. He says, I have a mess. I figured tears and snot. I grab wipes and tissues and I turn the light on my phone. That's when I realized he was covered in blood. It was his first bloody nose and it was bad. All over his face and arms and clothes and stuffy and blanket, and now I'm covered. Those weren't tears dripping down my shoulder. I get him all cleaned up and I ask my wife to shout the bloody items while I get him cleaned up. I'm tucking him in and I ask why he didn't let mummy help. He said mummy didn't check on me. Somebody never checked on me. Now my wife is pissed at me for expecting her to help. I'm pissed at her for not taking care of our son while I'm in the shower and she's watching her iPad. And I'm pissed off that she's pissed off that I expected her to help. So who's the a-hole? Wait a second, so your wife is upset because you expected her to help. What sort of joke is that? Hey yo, you're a parent. OP, you haven't done anything wrong. The only part is where it says now my wife is pissed at me for expecting her to help. Oh, sorry that I expected you to parent your child. child? You haven't done anything, OP. And why's your wife lying about helping your son? And your wife is annoyed at you for expecting her to do something. Why? The top comment says, not the a-hole. Your wife is. You are both parents. Even if she thought that you should be checking on him when you didn't, she should have gone and checked on him. She should have wanted to. I can't imagine sitting and watching a movie while my child cried because what? That was not my problem? And the fact that she lies tells you that she knows that she should be ashamed of her behavior, and she's right. What she did was borderline abusive. Yeah, lied and said that she checked on him even when she didn't because she was ashamed of not checking on him. That could definitely be it. The second top comment says, not the a-hole. The biggest issue for me is the lying. At the very least, she should have been honest that she didn't go in, but it's also profoundly messed up to think that she didn't want to check on him. She's treating the idea of checking on her kid the same way that a part-time cashier would treat having to mop the floor when it was supposedly their co-worker's turn to do it. It's not a job that she gets to clock in and out of. She has to be present and show up at all times. And if you were in the shower and you couldn't hear them crying, then it was definitely her chance to act. Yeah, I don't understand what you were meant to do, OP. Maybe she feels guilty about it and she's projecting that onto you by being angry at you because she doesn't really have a good reason to be upset at you. This comment says, not the a-hole. I can't imagine ignoring a screaming child, and also screaming cries of bloody nose fear are very different from I don't want to go to bed, yes I want some attention cries. Any decent mother immediately knows the difference. Yeah, 100%, but either way, she definitely should have checked up on him. It sounds like their son was pretty upset and also probably pretty scared. Yeah, you're not the a-hole, OP. The next post that we're going to read is on the Entitled People subreddit. Guest demands paid job cleaning home that she's visiting. My dad Bill recently had a visit from an old friend Tom and his girlfriend Susan. Susan had met my dad once or twice already, but it was brief and it was her first time in his home. They climb the stairs from the front door into the kitchen and dining room, which open up to the living room. Dad grabs a few beers and he and Tom head to the table. Meanwhile, Susan is giving herself a tour, wandering through the rooms and looking at everything and touching everything, as if that wasn't what the enough in the home of somebody for the first time. Susan suddenly declares, Bill, this place is a mess. My poor dad was literally rendered speechless. For starters, it was a blatant lie. Dad's in his late 60s but in excellent physical health and totally keeps things neat and clean. Of course, there's always a little bit of clutter or whatnot, but the typical stuff like a stack of mail that hasn't been sorted, some snacks or little stuff that you expect in any home that has somebody living in it. But for another, this woman was a guest in his home. Had he been a hoarder worthy of his own Netflix episode, it would have been proper manners to keep her mouth shut. But as Dad floundered, the plot thickened. Don't worry, Bill, Susan continued cheerfully. I'll come and clean for you. I've been looking for a new house cleaning customer, so I've got plenty of time to come and work here. My rates are just so-and-so dollars. You're so lucky that I came by to help you out. I'll start tomorrow. Oh my God, was only trying to get some money out of it. Apparently my father is a much more restrained person than I am. I don't believe that I could have handled it as calmly as he did under those circumstances. He just gave her a firm no thank you. I don't need any help at this time. Of course, Susan didn't just accept it. He had to tell her several times before she finally backed down. And what was Tom doing during all of this? Sitting silently, beer in hand, with a chill expression on his face. Wow, that's so infuriating. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go into somebody else's house and I'll tell them how messy their house is and then they can hire me. Like, yeah, nice try, but get out of here. The top comment says you'll get no the first time, off the second time, and then ejected from my house the third time. Yeah, but not even though. I feel like I would have kicked them out straight away. Like, oh, sorry. You're disrespectful. You're super rude. Goodbye. Like, did you just say that my house is super messy so that I could hire you and you could make some money out of me? Get out of my house. Yeah, like the comment below that says, I wouldn't have waited that long. I would have shown her and her boyfriend to the door immediately after noticing that she was helping herself to an unescorted tour of my home without even so much as asking me first. That's completely unacceptable behavior. Yeah, that's so wild. Post number 4 is back on Am I the Gay Hole? Am I the gay hole for telling my wife that she's wrong and that my mum is right? I, 35 male, have been married to my wife, 32 female, for 5 years, and we've been struggling financially for the past few months. I lost my job probably 3 months ago, and while I have found part-time work, it doesn't pay nearly as much as before. We've had to cut back on a lot of stuff, but it feels like no matter what we do, we're still living paycheck to paycheck or even pulling from savings. Recently, my mum, 65 female, came over to visit, and she noticed how stressed I was about my money situation. She offered some advice on how we could save money, stuff like cutting down on takeout and meal prepping having to avoid buying groceries multiple times a week and switching to cheaper brands and stuff like that, my mum has always been frugal, especially when raising me and my siblings on a tight budget. I thought it made sense, especially since we are trying to save wherever we can. I asked her if she would be willing to go through our spending and show me where we could cut down. My wife agreed with this. She made a whole spreadsheet about our spending, and we're spending way too much on fun stuff. We don't need Starbucks every day and so on. It's also become apparent that most of the fun spending was my wife's, and to be honest, my wife didn't take the breakdown well and started arguing with my mum that her spreadsheet was wrong. She said that her mum's way of doing things are outdated and they don't work for us. She doesn't want to give up buying organic produce and she likes having a variety in what we eat each week. I tried to explain that we need to make some sacrifices if we do want to get out of this financial hole, but she kept on insisting that things weren't as bad as what I was making them out to be and that we just needed to ride it out. My mum left at that point and we're still arguing, and she told me that she can't give up her takeout. She also went on about my mum being wrong. That's when I lost my patience and said, "You're wrong. My mum's right. She was able to raise 3 kids on 1 income, and we can't even cut back on our groceries for a few months." My wife got really upset, saying that I'm being a huge jerk for siding with my mum and that my mum is outdated. She's barely spoken to me since, and now I'm wondering if I did go too far. But the way I see it, we need to be realistic about our situation, and my mum's advice could actually help us get back on track. What does your wife mean it's outdated? It was confronting for your wife to see how much money she spends, and I'm assuming she feels guilty about it. But what the hell's outdated about this? It can't be outdated. And also, what does your wife mean, ride it out? That's not how something like this works. Yeah, like the top comment says, not the a-hole. Your wife agreed to go through your budget with your mum. Your mum took the time and effort to review things, and then it sounds like your wife was super rude and dismissive. As far as I know, math hasn't changed that much in the last 30 years, so it's not clear how what your mum says is outdated. Yeah, it can't be outdated. Your wife just saw the spreadsheet and was like, oh, holy crap, I spend a lot of money. And then by the sounds of it, doesn't want to change and got defensive about it. And also, were you joking about the Starbucks every day and all the takeout food? Of course you need to stop doing stuff like that. How is that not obvious? Oh yeah, like I better not buy expensive food all the time, and I probably don't need Starbucks every day. Like, that's not shocking, is it? And of course you need to do that if you're worried about money. Your wife doesn't have a lot of choice here, OP. If you can't afford it, then you can't afford it. But also, like this comment says, I'm not sure why you needed a spreadsheet to tell you to stop getting Starbucks every day. The cost-saving measures your mum suggested are so basic that I have to call you and your wife a-holes for seemingly not even trying. Yeah, that's such a good point. Also, is it entirely what your wife is spending that's the issue? Or are you buying Starbucks and takeout and stuff too, OP? Yeah, like that other comment said, why do you need somebody to tell you not to buy stuff like that? Not keeping buying takeout and Starbucks and stuff is such a no-brainer. But by the sounds of it, you didn't know about that, OP? Yeah, I don't know. There's not really that much information here. This comment says she was okay with your mum's help until it showed where the money is really going. Most of us have been in your shoes one time or another. Tightening up the financial belt is hard, but you do what you have to do to get by. In my experience, after living with less, you actually prefer it. If we get takeout, it's a treat, and planning meals ahead does save a lot of money. Good luck. And OP said, this is how I do it. I just assumed that she only got takeout as special treats, other stuff as treats, but that spreadsheet made it clear that that's not the case. I'm actually shocked that she doesn't hate takeout, since it seems that she gets it every other day. Right, okay, so yeah, I feel like that comment makes you not the a-hole, OP, because in that comment you've pretty much said that you didn't know about her spending. You do try to only have takeout yourself as a treat, and you also said that she pretty much gets takeout every other day. So yeah, I feel like with that information, you're not the a-hole. Well, yeah, I don't think so anyway. But yeah, also like that other comment said, I don't really feel like you should have brought your mum into it. There's a comment that says, info, you mentioned your own loss of a job and working part-time. Does your wife work? Is she the primary earner right now? And OP said she works part-time as doesn't wish to go full-time. It's not good for her mental health. I'm still the primary earner even with part-time. This comment says, why are you both not working multiple part-time jobs if only working part-time? And OP said, well, she refuses to. I've got to drive 2 hours to get to the job, and when I get back it's already late, and I still want to be around for our son. It's better to work part-time in my field than just get any job. So was your wife aware that you guys needed to start saving money? This one's pretty confusing, and I feel like there definitely needs to be more information. And do you two split everything, or are you paying for most of the household? Is she just spending her own money that she makes on her takeaway and stuff like that? Yeah, I don't know, it's confusing because you shouldn't need somebody to tell you not to buy Starbucks and stuff, or like your wife shouldn't need that. And yeah, if you can't afford it, then you can't afford it. But are you trying to maintain this household on your own and she's spending her own money? Or do you guys split stuff? Yeah, I don't know, it sounds like your wife really does not want to save and enjoy Starbucks and takeaway and stuff like that. But it's a matter of having to, you're gonna have to cut back. The next one is called god, am I the gay hoe for demanding that my niece or her parents pay me back for the hundreds of dollars of perfume that she stole from me? Note, I'm not involving the police or suing anybody. Please don't try to argue with me about it or convince me why I should. I've got a perfume collection that I started when I was a teenager slinging burritos as my first job. I have over 400 bottles at this point. I take great pride in my collection and I use it. I'm also happy to give people decants, samples of most of my bottles, let them sample a spray or two or give them some bottles as a gift. What I've got a huge issue with is my 17-year-old niece coming into my home under the guise of walking my dog, decanting bottles on her own, and selling the samples to her little friends. She thinks because I've got so many bottles I wouldn't even notice I'm missing or getting massive dents in them. Well, Little Miss Entrepreneur failed to realize that her private Instagram wasn't friends only or whatever, and I saw each and every story with each price and sample that she had. I tallied that up and I got a pretty good estimate based on cost per ounce. Thankfully, she mainly picked the TikTok famous perfumes like Bianco Latte and Escapade Gourmand and didn't go for the most rare niche perfumes. She did snatch an entire 2.5 bottle of Baccarat Rouge though, which is about $300 or more at most retailers, as well as some full bottles of perfume that you can get at Sephora like Marc Jacobs Daisy and Burberry Her Elixir and Flower Bomb. Petty or not, I printed out the entire list of what she'd taken and the price estimate and I handed it off to my sister, her mum. I said that I expect to be paid back in full, and of course her sneaky little ass sister never allowed me in my home again. My sister got super pissy with me going on about how my niece is just a kid, kids make mistakes, etc. Oh my god, that's a terrible excuse. I said, yeah, kids make mistakes, and this one's a great way for my niece to learn from her mistakes. Their argument is now the money she was going to use for her car has to go towards paying me back. She's lucky that I've got no interest in involving the police or small claims court or any of that. But am I the a-hole because she is a teenager? Why would you be the a-hole? Because you're holding them accountable? No, you're not the a-hole, OP. Oh my god, no. Once again, actions have consequences. You mean that you can't just steal somebody's stuff and sell it? You're joking. Yeah, like the top comment says, she's just a kid who created a successful business enterprise selling stolen property, not the a-hole. Yeah, what a terrible excuse. Oh, come on, she's just a kid. Oh yeah, completely innocent. OP said this is the part that bugs me. If she had have come to me and asked if she could sell a handful of her friends some samples, I might have entertained the idea. I know that getting samples for niche perfumes is a hassle, but no, she screwed herself out of that one. Yeah, the audacity is wild. And trying to protect her from her own consequences, that's not a good idea. The comment below that says, this is a great way to learn. You're so right. This is a character building core memory if she has consequences, not the a-hole by any measure. And this comment too, not the a-hole. I don't see how her not having a car is your problem. The money that she's got for the car is made from selling perfume that she stole from you. She's so lucky the consequences are not more serious. I guess she won't have a car until she figures out legitimate ways to earn money that doesn't involve stealing. The comment below that says, also, if her hobby is theft, enabling her to take her racket further is a very poor choice. She can't be trusted at home. She can't be trusted to leave home on her own. Yeah, that's such a good point. Oh yeah, it's definitely a good idea to make them realize that there aren't any consequences. That won't end terribly, will it? Of course it will. If they've been stealing stuff from OP now and they got caught and they don't have to face any consequences, that'll only get worse and worse and worse. And what, they're okay with her thinking that she can just steal stuff? That's so terrible. And definitely enough for today. That was such a wild episode and I hope you guys had a good time today. I've got 2 cute wholesome memes to show you before we go. I wish I was a cat. No school, no works, just meow meow. Yeah, oh my god, tell me about it. I'm around the cats all the time and they're so cute and they've got such an awesome life. I'm not complaining, I've also got an awesome life, but cats get to eat food and sleep and talk to birds. That's so beautiful. And no responsibilities. That's so awesome. I love talking to you, even if I've got nothing to say. Oh, that's so cute. And the Bear Bears is such a good show. I like talking to you so much that I don't even care what we talk about. That's so beautiful. Thank you for watching, guys. I hope you had a wonderful time today. And if you did, make sure you let me know down below and subscribe if you want to. And the comment of the day today goes to Ryan. Saturday morning Vincey is the adult equivalent of Saturday morning cartoons. Oh, that's so funny. I really appreciate that. Also, you can definitely still watch cartoons as an adult, but yeah, I know what you mean and I really appreciate that. Thank you for the support. That means so much to me. I love making these episodes. And yeah, I'll see you in the next episode. Make sure you look after yourself and make sure you have a beautiful, amazing rest of your day. And you know what I'm about to say because I say it every single day. Bye!